So this is Dirleton. Dirleton was a coach stop between Edinburgh and North Berwick. It's on the east coast of East Lothian, about 3 miles north of North Berwick and about 20 miles from Edinburgh. The village itself is dominated by the 13th century castle, which we'll see in a minute. You see this lovely little row of houses, the green, and there's a lovely parish church here that dates back to 1661. It was extended in 1825, but here's what we're really come to see today, the castle. As you can see, it's open all year round. £3.80 at the moment to get in for adults. So this is just an overview of Dirleton Castle, what you can see from above once you come out of the little shop. Oh, look at these. These gardens are absolutely beautiful. It's one of the main reasons you come to Dirleton, is just to get to see these beautiful gardens. All the different colours of poppies. Roses. Oh, they're pretty. Oh, little pink. Now, Dirleton Castle is one of Scotland's oldest surviving strongholds. Dates back to the 13th century, and for about 400 years it was a magnificent sort of fortified residence for 3 successive families, or noble families: the Devoe, the Halliburtons and the Ruthvens. Definitely picked the best day to come and see this. It's looking beautiful. Oh, these are lovely. Not sure what they are, but they're really, really pretty. Now, these gardens that we're seeing today are from the late 18 and early 1900s. That's when they were laid out. The formal Victorian West garden has geraniums and lots of foliage plants, and it was sort of reconstructed in 1993. Oh, what's happening here? Let's have a look. Oh, right, this area is undergoing treatment for elder treatment. Oh, well. And there's some really nice herbaceous borders in the North Garden, and that dates to the 1920s, so yeah. There's quite a lot of garden here to explore. These lovely, they look like giant thistles. Absolutely gorgeous. And they seem to be very popular with the bees and things. These are very pretty. And there's a butterfly. I don't know if you can see it there. I'm getting as close as I can to the butterfly. Sorry, that's as close as I can get. Beautiful colours. So relaxing. Now parts of the castle are a little bit closed off. We can't go over the bridge at the other side. It's having work done to it at the moment. There's a little bee doing its thing. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. But we can go around and have a little look. So this is the castle ducat, or dovecote, or pigeon house. You find these beehive shaped ones, they're fairly common. We also get like a lectern shaped one as well, and they house pigeons. You know, some of them can hold 500 birds, some of them can hold 1,000 birds. Pigeon was the cheapest and easiest form of meat, so you always had a fresh meat supply if you had one of these dovecotes. So I'll just let you see what I'm saying. And there's various spellings. So yes, as we come in, just going to go down the steps and in we go. Isn't that amazing? It's very well preserved, this one. It has had some work done to it. But each of these little boxes is where the pigeons would have lived, and there would have been a pole with its base in here going up to the ceiling with access to all these boxes, so you could pick and choose which birds you took. Now there is a sign at the door, but because the sun's shining right in, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this shows you how they worked. Right. Now, there is some maintenance going on at the moment, so we can't get across the bridge just ahead of us there, but it's actually a nice way to get into the castle. It's quite an impressive castle. The towers at that end away from us are from the 1200s, and the oldest architecture in the castle is along at that end as well. I'm sure there used to be cherry trees here. Anyway. Now the remnants of the Devois time include the keep, which we can't really see from here, which is on the southwest corner. So over there. There's actually quite a similar castle in the north of France. John de Vaux had been a steward in the nearby household of Alexander II and Queen Marie. And this is all about loose masonry and things, so it has just recently reopened. Now, unfortunately for me, the only way in today is up this flight of stairs. Now this sign has definitely seen better days, but anyway, as we look up we can see where in the 1200s the De Vaux built their stronghold. And then we go into the 1300s where the Halliburtons, 13 to 1400s, added on to that. And then we also have the later building, which we can see just here where they've got string courses and things, and this was built by the Lothians.
Baba! Baba!
Could be storage. Very nice vaulted ceiling there. Unfortunately we can't get any further in, which is a shame because there's so much to show you in the next sections, but as you can see it's closed. They've had a lot of problems with loose masonry and things, so for health and safety a lot of the castles have been made off limits, so we're not actually getting to see as much as we had hoped. Yeah, what can you do? I've got to admit that when I looked at the website it didn't say this much was closed, so I'm actually quite disappointed because I thought we were actually going to get to see slightly more than we've got access to. So that's where we would have come in if the bridge had been open. We would have come up there. Right. Now, the De Vaux, when they had the castle, they suffered quite badly during the Wars of Independence, with England that is, and it was captured in 1296 under orders of Edward I, and it then changed hands several times. Right, we'll go and have a look in there in a minute. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful decoration? And here you can see where they would have had window seats. So in what would have been the hall, you really need to do something about their signs. They're past their best. They're very sun damaged. So the buffet on the wall, it looks a bit like a fireplace, but it's not. And that's where they would have had their their best things on display. Now the peak just between the trees, that's Berwick Law. And as we look over here, just in the distance you can see the Isle of May, and we're looking towards Fife. Now by 1356 Dirleton was owned by John Halliburton. He rebuilt the battered castle around a new residence, tower residence, with a great hall, which is what we're standing in at the moment, and along the east side of the courtyard, even as a ruin, the surviving Halliburton storage in the basements is absolutely incredible. The vaults are lovely. There's a family chapel, there's a pit prison. I'm just going to give you a close-up of some of the detail here just before we move on. Isn't that amazing? Right, so we're going to go in here first and have a little look. And this castle does give you kind of a glimpse as to what late sort of Middle Ages would have been like. So if you ever do come, hopefully by that point everything will have been assessed and will have been reopened. Just here we have a bread oven, or what's left of the bread oven, and this is the kitchen. Now, I'll just let you have a little look. This sounds weird, slightly better, so you can see how busy and bustling the kitchen would have been back in the day. Oh, looks like a cupboard. And you have these on the floor. I'm thinking one of them would have gone down to the well, perhaps. And then as we look here, there's quite a lot of sort of farm buildings outside, but you see this gap, that's your slop chute, that's where your rubbish leaves the kitchen. It gets poured through there. This is one of the huge fireplaces. Then we have another one just here. And that looks like it was probably a serving hatch at one point. Right, so fantastic views from up here though. So this is the servery, and it linked the kitchen and the great hall. And the platters would have been passed through the serving hatch just here, and then placed on benches before being carried into the hall. And this is the pantry. So the pantry is sort of the serving room for the food coming directly Oh, there's a child making lots of noise down there. Having a good time with the echoes. There you go. So this would have been used for things coming directly from the vaults below before it would be taken into the hall. So we're now underneath the Great Hall, and here we are in the bakehouse. So you can see another bread oven. It's slightly in better shape actually, so you can kind of get the idea of it. You can see it's rounded, and it would have been closed off at this end, and it would have had a back to it. Isn't that beautiful? Just the way it's constructed, it's amazing that it's still standing. So here we have the bread oven that we're just looking at. There's a small one just here. So it's quite nice. Shows you how it would have been laid out, how they would have put the bread in the oven. Okay. And how it was used for storage. Now just here we have the postern gate. Okay, it's been blocked up. Lots of castles change their entrances over time. So you can see the sign, the side entrance to the original 13th century castle. But if we look here, we've little clues. You see all these scores, that's where people have sharpened things. Knives, blades, swords, whatever. And usually when you find somewhere that would be guarded, you'll find these scores. You also find them in kitchens as well. So here we can see we're in the priest's chamber, which was a private chamber for the priest, and it had its own fireplace, and here's the fireplace, and it would have had its own latrine as well. So a latrine is a toilet. And that's probably where the latrine was. Not quite as exposed as it is today. And this is the sort of little chapel. Little cupboards, it's beautifully decorated, it's really hard to see But what's left of the decoration is really cool. So you'll sit better like that. So this would have been probably for storing the vessels and things. That's us just looking back into the basement, the storage area. So that would have been a latrine. Lovely. And here you can see the sign, prison pit. Just to give you an idea of how steep these steps are. So this is just showing you where we are. Really horrible way to confine people. So this is in the times of the Halliburtons when they've still got the castle. So yeah, now you can see there's a ladder here, okay? That's because that's the pit prison down there. And you're lucky if there's a ladder. You know, if they don't like you, they might just drop you in, and that's a good drop. That's going to break bone. So if we look back at the plan, that's what we've just been looking down that gap there. They did have a latrine row, which, you know, is not always the case. So not too bad, I suppose. But I wouldn't fancy it myself. These steps are massive, so if you do come here, bear in mind there is no handrail at the side, so be very, very careful. Yeah, goodbye pit prison. That was quite unpleasant. So just through the trees where the grass is, that is a bowling green. There's actually people bowling on it today, and that is probably where there was a formal garden planted originally. Right, well, I love this garden. So yeah, we're just going to walk through it again, just on the other side. Have a little look at the flowers that we have here. Now, if you have enjoyed the tour and you like the way I do things, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, put a comment in, and if you can buy me a coffee. That's very much appreciated, and it helps the channel keep going. But look at these, they're gorgeous. Right, thanks everyone, bye.